Hey guys, Metal Driver here bringing you another AEW Unrivaled review. Today I'll be looking at Series 3, Riho. So looking at the sides of the box, you see the AEW logo and an image of Riho. On the back of the box, you see a photo of Riho, her signature, the event in which this picture was taken, Dynamite, date October 2nd, 2019, in Washington, D.C. And at the bottom of the box, you see the rest of the figures that are in this wave. Alright, and now that we have looked at the box, let's go ahead and open this up and take a closer look at Riho. Alright, and here we have Riho out of the packaging. But before we take a look at the figure, let's go ahead and look at the accessories that she comes with. Alright, so she does come with several interchangeable hands, which includes 2 open hands, 2 gripping hands, a right fist, and a left pointing hand. Then the other piece of accessory that she has is, in my opinion, the best one, which is the AEW Women's Championship belt, which looks really good, really well sculpted. You can see the AEW logo there. It's nice and shiny. I do love how the plates came out on this strap. The belt design looks really cool. We got some gold buttons around the center. Even got some nice detailing on the strap here and on the other side. So really nice detailing on this belt. This is the first time we are getting the AEW Women's Championship. So it's nice to finally have another belt in the Unrivaled line. Alright, then taking a look at the head sculpt, and yeah, it's not the best. I have seen online many people complain that this head sculpt was horrible, that it looked terrible, and it didn't look like Riho, and I will say that in person, it does look better. However, it's still not a really good head sculpt in my opinion. Now, she does have a little bit of a likeness to Riho. I don't think it doesn't look like her at all. I just think that a screaming or open mouth expression was really not the way to go. Usually those type of head sculpts are either a hit or a miss. Sometimes companies are able to nail it, sometimes they don't, and in this case, I don't think Jazzwares really nailed the likeness with this expression that she has. Which is a real shame because the Chase version of this figure has a closed mouth head sculpt. So that one actually has a different head, and in my opinion, that one looks a lot better. So it's a shame that the Chase one has that. In my opinion, I think the standard version should have had that head sculpt, and this one should have been on the Chase version instead. But with that being said, I think the paint apps are good on this figure. The lips look good, the eyes look good, the eyebrows are painted well. The hair is sculpted really nice. There's no additional paint in the hair, it's just a solid brown color. And as I said, I do think in person this head sculpt looks better. The likeness to Riho is slightly there. It does resemble her, but it's just not the best likeness. And before I look at the rest of the figure, her collar is painted really well. Got some silver and gray designs there. Goes onto a strap down here to her top. Paint looks good on the top. Got some skin tone painted here and here. The straps and the ties look good here. Look at the back. Just a solid white, not much there. There does seem to be some missing paint here. And she's got this nice shoulder piece here. Nice soft rubbery plastic so it doesn't hinder the articulation. Then on the right arm, she's got straps all over her bicep and forearm, painted really well. Some nice good paint there. Then she has her wrist accessory here. Nicely done. Nice soft plastic, not to hinder any of the articulation, so that's really good. She has the same thing on the other wrist. Then looking at her skirt. Skirt is well done. Again, same soft rubbery plastic, so not to hinder any articulation. You do have this pink design going around, so that looks really nice. Really well sculpted. And underneath are just her pink trunks. Alright, then look at the legs. Just a solid skin tone on the bare legs. No extra shading. Her knee pads look really good, painted really well. So white knee pads with this pink laces and ties, so this looks really good. Then that same design goes down to her boots. So the laces are painted well on both sides. So really nice design, really well made. And the feet is really well painted. Some nice good clean work. No sloppiness. No mispaint anywhere. So overall the figure looks good. The body is well made. The paint apps came out really well on the figure. And even on the head sculpt, it's just unfortunate that this is the head sculpt they went with, but it does look better in person. Alright then, going over the articulation. So the head is on a ball joint and a hinge. It does not go high up due to the plastic of the back of the hair. She can look that far down, which is pretty good. Her head can slightly turn side to side, but it is hindered by the hair. It can't really tilt. Shoulder has a hinge, which allows it to go really high up. It can rotate all the way around. There's a bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows. There's a swivel and hinge at the wrist. There is a ball joint at the upper diaphragm, which allows her to crunch slightly forward. She can go a little further back. She can turn side to side, and she can pivot quite a bit. Then she has a waist swivel, which allows her to turn side to side. So unlike the male figures, which have a ball joint here, so there isn't a whole lot of range of motion with the ab crunch, at least not like the male figures. The hips have a ball joint which allow the legs to go that far out. It can go that high up. There's a thigh cut. Double jointed knees, which have really good range of motion. There is no cut at the boot or at the bottom of the ankle, but there is a hinge at the ankle which allows it to go that high up and go that far down. And she does have good ankle pivot. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on the Series 3 Riho figure? Well, despite the fact that the head sculpt isn't a good head sculpt, I do like the figure. I think the overall figure looks pretty good. The paint apps came out really well. And even though the head sculpt really isn't that good, the paint apps did turn out very well on the figure. Again, as I mentioned, it is a shame that Jazzwares made the better head sculpt a Chase figure. I would have preferred if that head sculpt was on this figure, and this head sculpt was on the Chase. But despite the negative of a bad head sculpt, do I think this figure is worth picking up? I think if you are into the Unrivaled AEW line, and you plan on picking up the figures or collecting different figures, I think you definitely want to have Riho in your collection. This is only the second female figure that we have in the line. The other one is Brandy, which was in Series 1, and that figure is really hard to find. So for me, this is the only female figure that I have for the AEW line. So aside from the fact that there are many female figures, this figure also comes with the AEW Women's Championship belt. So for those reasons, I would recommend this figure. So hopefully it does sell well and we can get some more female figures in later waves. So let me know in the comment section below what female figures do you hope Jazzwares makes for the AEW line. Me personally, I would love it if they made a Serena Deeb or a Thunder Rosa figure. So if you like this review, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe so you can see more AEW Unrivaled reviews. Follow me on social media so you can keep up to date with all my wrestling figure photography. As always, stay tuned till the end to see pictures of this figure in action. And I'll see you next time.